While building integrations or applications using Visual Builder, we might come across a common scenario wherein we have to call the Oracle Fusion BIP report on behalf of a user. Traditionally, what we do is we will create a SOAP service in the integration, or if you're testing the same with the help of SoapUI, then we will be creating a request in the SoapUI and we will be providing the details for your report. For demonstration purpose, what I'm doing is I will be calling this report, that is get customer account report. So this is not accepting any request parameters, so this is optional. So in your case, you might be having a complex BIP report which is getting lot of transactional data from the Fusion. So this is just for demonstration. I have created a simple report. So what we will usually do is we will go over here, add a basic credential, and we will be providing the username, password, and we will get the response. So every time you have to call the BIP report with the same credential. Now what if you have to create the role-based access control, like whoever is logging into your application or whoever has invoked your integration, the same user has to be used in order to call the BIP report. Suppose if that user is having access to BIP report, then they will be getting the data. Otherwise, BIP report will not fetch the data. Suppose if you want to implement such kind of use cases, then we will see how we can use the JWT access tokens or the bearer tokens in order to call the Fusion BIP report SOAP web service instead of the basic credentials. In our earlier classes, we have seen a number of cases wherein we had generated the JWT access token or the bearer token and we have called the REST API, and we have not seen how to do the same for SOAP web services. So we'll see the same in this class. So all these things we had already covered in multiple classes earlier. In order to make use of JWT feature which comes out of the box with Oracle Cloud Fusion application, we have to first of all navigate to the authentication, that is API authentication. Just make sure if you are having access to Navigator Security Console. If not, you can ask the admin of your project to execute all those steps. I have logged into my Fusion instance. First and the foremost thing is we have to register our API provider. In order to do the same, we have to click on Navigator, expand the tools, then we have to go to Security Console. Once you are in the Security Console, from the menu you have to click this API authentication. Then if you are creating your application for the first time, then you have to click on this Create a Oracle API authentication provider. Then you have to click on Edit. From here you have to select JWT. Trusted issuer you have to give properly because this will be the identifier which we will be using later on in order to generate the token. So issuer is unique, you have to provide. So each application will have its own issuer identity. So this identity will be having their own certificate which you are going to generate. I will tell over here skill learning and click on save and close. Next, we have to click on the public certificate. We have to upload the public certificate over here. Click on add certificate and we have to upload the certificate. We can give some alias. So this is also a very important thing, the alias. In our case, we can give test JWT organization. In your case, you can give some application name. Suppose if you are creating this JWT for some supplier or sourcing application, you can provide the same. And from here, you have to select the public certificate. Now you might get a question like how we can generate this public certificate. You have to make sure you are uploading the .cer file, not the .pem file. In order to generate the certificate files, we can execute those steps. You can make use of the terminal on your Linux computer or the PowerShell on Windows, even the command prompt, or you can make use of the terminal on your MacBook. Suppose you are saying that you don't have access to the terminals on your computer, which is provided by your organization, then you can anyhow go to the cloud shells like OCI shell or on the Azure or whatever the cloud you are having. Just you have to make use of OpenSSL command and generate the private key, the public key, that is the .cer public key. Then you can generate the private key .pem file. Then you can convert the private key to DER file and ultimately you can generate the public.pem file. So these are the steps I have mentioned over here. So we have covered in detail on generating those certificates in n number of classes or the videos earlier. So when you fully generate those files, it will look something like this: the private.key, the PEM file, public PEM file, public.cer and the .der. So our focus over here is on the CER file. So this is the file we have to upload over here. I have already created an identity with this issuer. Let me search for that. It's over here and I have already added the certificate for this. I have selected JWT for my demo1.com. And here, if you closely observe, I have provided this test JWT organization and I have already uploaded my certificate. Suppose if you want to modify or edit that certificate, just click on edit and you can upload the new .cer file. So this is the first and the foremost thing you have to do. We have to register or create the API provider, give some identity or the issuer name, select the JWT and upload the certificate, that is the .cer file. So with this set, we are good to call or generate the JWT bearer token or the access token. So here is the link how you can generate one. You can make use of any programming language of your choice, that is for testing with the help of Postman. Now coming to the structure, how the JWT token will look like. If you consider this JWT token, it will have three parts. One is the header, the body, and at the end the signature. So each and every part is separated by the period. If you see over here, this section, there is a period. So this signifies it is the header. Now header in Fusion, it is having three types. The algorithm, that is the cryptographic algorithm, it is saying RS-256. And the type, it is saying JWT. And this is the constant for the public certificate. You can hard code this if you want. Next comes the payload. In the payload, here is the issuer name. So whatever you have provided in the issuer while you are registering for the API authentication provider on the Fusion, you have to put it over here. Coming to the subject, this is the unique username of your Fusion user you have to provide. Suppose I am logging into Fusion applications using some username like John, then I have to put the John. Next, coming to AUD, here you have to provide the Fusion host. In your case, suppose if the Fusion host is like this, then you have to provide up to .com and the /. Next, IAT and AXT, this is nothing but when it has to expire and when it was generated, those things. In the machine terminology, these stamps are denoted, also called as epoch stamp. So this was regarding the header part and the body. Now coming to the third part, signature. So this we cannot decrypt using any online tool. So this can be decrypted only by the Fusion instance. So we are signing this with the help of private key. Then when we send this token to the Fusion, it will decrypt this header, this body, and the signature. It will match with the public key when it is matching. It will validate with the help of public key. So this was regarding the JWT bearer token. Now in order to demonstrate, I have written a simple JavaScript code which I have used in other classes as well in order to generate the token. So using that, we will generate the token and we will use that as a bearer token on our SoapUI tool. Here is the simple JavaScript code I have written, and I am making use of few node libraries over here like the JSON Web Token and others. Now main thing over here is the body and the header. So this part we have to generate. As we had seen in the header, we have to send these things like the algorithm, JWT and the thumbprint. Thumbprint is nothing but it is generated for the public key. I will show you how we have generated. Coming to the payload, we have to populate like who is the issuer, what is the username on behalf of whom we are trying to call, the Fusion host, all these things. In order to get all these things, I have created few constants. So whatever is the constant, I'm hard coding it over here, like the username, my issuer name, whatever I have provided while registering in the Fusion instance, I have put it over here, and also the Fusion instance. Now coming to the variable things like this, the thumbprint X5T and the token, that is the third part. In order to generate this, we have to make use of the certificates. So we had seen that when we run those scripts over here in the Windows or the Linux terminal or any terminal, we will be getting those files. Now in order to generate the signature, we have to make use of this private key. So public key, you can ignore this. You can just get the X5D thumbprint for the public key and you can put it over here. You don't need to again make use of public key at runtime and generate the thumbprint every time. Only the signature will change because your subject is changing every time, and IAT and expiry. Thumbprint for public key is always same. Now in my case, I will be every time generating the thumbprint because you might have a scenario wherein you will be uploading the public key and the private key in the object storage on the OCI so that you can rotate the keys from time to time in order to maintain the security. Now this is a simple code I have written in order to generate the expiry time, IAT time and other details how we can generate the signature. Then I am making use of the JWT library over here and I am generating the signature using this algorithm, this header and the body, everything I will be passing. Now I will show you how my signature will look like, and I will give over here the file name Now this is the JWT Bearer token it has generated. Now if you decode this, you can see there is this header, this body and the signature part. Now let me copy this and show you in the jwt.io how it will look like. Now when we generated this JWT token, it is having three parts: the header part, the body part and the main signature. So this signature we cannot decrypt, but header it is saying, so this token is having this header. This is what is expected by Fusion. So this public key thumbprint, so this you can generate once, or you can ask your customer or the Fusion team in order to share this thumbprint, and you can hard code. No need to every time generate like how I have done. I have considered the use case wherein you will be storing the key in the OCI object storage. Every time you can rotate. So in that case, you have to generate the thumbprint every time instead of hard coding. Now this was regarding the header, the body. So the user, whatever I have written, it has added in the signature. Now coming to the third part, this is very secure. Online tools, any tool, it cannot decrypt the signatures. So this is secured. Only Fusion application can decrypt. The same token we will be using and calling the SOAP web service. Now I will go to the SoapUI and I will click on run. So it is not returning any data, it is just echoing because we don't have authentication added. I'm basically calling this BIP report in order to get this CSV file. Now you might ask, there is no option in the SoapUI in order to pass this bearer token. In order to pass the bearer token, we have to make use of the headers, that is the SOAP headers. I will go to the headers tab over here and I will write authorization. So this is one of the HTTP headers. It has nothing to do with the SOAP or REST. So this will go in the HTTP header. I have to make use of this authorization. Then I have to write over here bearer space and have to copy paste the bearer token, whatever I have generated it over here. And also I'm printing this thumbprint. Suppose if you don't want to generate this every time, you can just make use of this thumbprint and you can hard code. And you can remove this part wherever I'm referring to the public key and generating the thumbprint. So this was regarding that. And once we have populated the authorization header, that is with the value bearer space and the token, what we have generated from here, I will click on send. Click on send. Now this is going to call the SOAP web service, that is for the BIP report on behalf of the user. Now you might ask, who is the user? Now user is this person, that is John Dunbar. So this is the person it will use and it will call the SOAP web service and we are seeing the report data. Now you might ask, this bearer token Fusion may not be validating. It will randomly give data for all the user. It's not true. Let me again generate the token for the user which is not available in Fusion. I have put over here one, that is johndunbar.1. So this user is not available in the Fusion instance. Now let me get the token for this user. Let me copy this and also let me validate from here whether that user has been added or not. Just scroll down. Here if you see, this token is having John Dunbar 1. So it's been added. Now let me modify this. I will write bearer space and the token and click on enter. This time it has given the authorization error. If you just look at the logs over here, you might see that this authentication got failed, and because of which we are not getting the data, just it is echoing the results over here. And also if you look at the headers in the response, we are getting 401 unauthorized. Suppose if you generate the token on behalf of an actual user, then you won't get this error. You will get the response like how we have seen. So using these simple steps, you will be able to generate the token on behalf of a user, that is directly from the Oracle Fusion application instance, and call the SOAP web services. And the same steps I have written over here. We have to delete the authentication for your SOAP web service. You can go for no authorization and just you have to add the HTTP header, that is authorization, and value you have to put bearer space and the token value. So like this, you can call any SOAP web service, not only BIP report, any SOAP web service which is offered as part of the Oracle Fusion Cloud application, you can call on behalf of any user.